Today we're taking a closer look at the Brooks Glycerin Max. These are premium Max cushion shoe that Brooks have released that they believe is at the forefront of technology with their DNA tuned nitrogen infused midsole. It comes in at a hefty price of $200, but can it justify the price? We'll explain it in this video what the new midsole does. We'll explain how it's really good for conditions like Metatarsalgia, Morton's Neuroma, and we'll discuss the performance and the overall fit. There's only one place that we can start with these shoes, and it's the craziest stack. So you got 45mm of cushion in the rear foot, 39mm of cushion in the forefoot, giving you a 6mm difference from back to front of the shoe. So it's what we classify as a medium to low drop shoe. That's helpful for forefoot conditions because it helps to evenly distribute force across the foot. It's got the DNA tuned nitrogen infused cushioning. Now in terms of what that feels like, we're actually quite surprised. It's relatively light, coming in at 297 grams for men's 9 US. It's quite responsive. You actually don't sink into it as much as what you get in shoes like the New Balance 108 V13, which is super soft, not as firm as what you see in the On Cloud Monster 2, so it sits somewhere in the middle, and it was relatively stable considering the amount of cushioning that's packed into this. So we actually quite enjoyed it. It's got elements of stability in terms of it's got big sidewalls sitting between the heel and the midfoot of the shoe, so they just come up, help to cradle the foot, stop it moving from side to side, adding that elements of stability. It's got a little bit of lateral sole flare that's coming out onto the edge that helps to control the amount of motion of your foot outward, helps keep your foot nice and centered in the shoe. It's got plenty of room in the toe box, and it was a true to size fit, so we had no issues with that in terms of sizing. I've got a normal size width foot, and to give you some perspective, normally with a Hawkeye I have to get a wide because I just find it a little bit too tight. No issues with this. It doesn't come in a wider version yet as far as I'm aware, and it didn't taper too early. So if you have conditions like Morton's Neuroma, bunions, or Metatarsalgia, you'll really enjoy this. If you've got a wide foot with a Morton's Neuroma, you may not find that as beneficial. Moving back down towards the heel bevel, so you've got a nice early lift on the heel bevel. It helps with the heel transition if you're a heel striker, and it's got a really aggressive late stage forefoot rocker. And I think by having this forefoot rocker so late, it means that you've got more contact with the ground, which in turn helps to make the shoe a little bit more stable. Underneath, we had no problems with the traction. Seems to be plenty of grip. We haven't taken it out on a super wet slippery day yet, but so far we've been out on relatively damp days, no issues with that. Then as we move further into the upper, a little bit disappointed in the tongue. You've got a moderately padded tongue, but it's not gusseted, which is what you'd expect for a premium price. We had no issues with a slippage side to side, but it was just a little bit of a strange design, that slightly diagonal fit in terms of the structure of the laces. So not having it gusseted and that strange design we felt was a little bit unusual. And also it's got a mild to moderately stiff heel counter. Now where that's useful is if you have a maximum cushion shoe like this, it's naturally unstable because of the amount of cushioning in it. So other brands will put in a stiff heel counter to reduce how much your foot can move from side to side. Not the case here in the Brooks. So those of you who need high levels of stability, it's probably not ideal for you. Otherwise there's a normal amount of padding on the heel counter that comes up, so probably not an issue if you've got conditions like Achilles tendinopathy or Haglund's deformity. So overall, a little bit of a crazy shoe. It looks a little bit unusual. It feels different than what I'd expect. Is it worth the $200 price tag? I'm not quite sure it is. If it wasn't for creating this review, I don't think I'd buy it. I prefer other shoes like the Ghost Max 2, which is a bit more stable, the Cloud Monster 2, which is a bit firmer of a ride, and I enjoyed that for more up-tempo runs. So I think this is going to be more of a cruiser, go a little bit faster. I don't think it's going to be able to tolerate up-tempo work. Otherwise, it's a shoe that you could definitely use for standing all day. It's not super heavy or anything like that, and it cradles the foot nicely, and it's not too unstable given that it's a max cushion shoe. So overall, I'd say it's more like an orthopedic shoe, really good for conditions of the forefoot. All that cushion, that late aggressive forefoot rocker is amazing. Otherwise, not sure it's worth the price. If you got any comments on the shoe, please leave them below. If you found the video interesting and helpful, please like and subscribe, and check out our other videos reviewing max cushion shoes.